A 7-year-old girl is dead. A dog killed her. And the people who owned that dog had been warned. Not once, but twice. This is the story of Olivia Grace Floyd. Olivia was 7 years old. 2nd grade. Wilson Elementary School in Waynesboro, Virginia. Her obituary described her as spunky, sweet, and caring. A little girl who got along with everyone and loved life. She loved cheerleading, gymnastics, dance. She loved unicorns. Her favorite colors were pink and purple. On January 29th, 2022, her parents dropped her and her little sister Ava off at her grandparents' house. They were going out for the evening. They never saw Olivia alive again. The dog's name was Ranger, a 122-pound Rottweiler, raised by the family from a puppy. Ranger belonged to Olivia's step-grandfather, Stephen Kakmer. He bought Ranger in 2017 as a birthday present to himself. In his own words, posted on Facebook. He called Ranger his Christmas birthday gift for the next 5 years. By the time Olivia walked into that house, Ranger had already attacked 5 people. 5. The family knew, and they kept him anyway. The first documented attack was September 11th, 2020. A 23-year-old man was walking down the street. Near the house on Parker Heights Road, Ranger pulled away from a woman's leash and mauled him. The victim described the dog as very aggressive. The attack left a permanent scar on his chest. Ranger was quarantined at home for 10 days. No charges were filed. The family kept the dog. Then came the trainer. In January 2021, a full year before Olivia died, a professional dog trainer sat down with Stephen Kakmer and Penny Bashler. Penny was Olivia's grandmother. The trainer's message was simple. This dog needs to be euthanized. They didn't do it. They kept Ranger. 2 months before Olivia died. November 2021. The same trainer came back. The aggression had escalated. The message was the same. This dog needs to be put down. The trainer warned them specifically about the gate, separating the living room from the rest of the house. Ranger had started guarding that area. The gate needed to go, and the dog should never, under any circumstances, be around children unless it was on a leash. The trainer later called Ranger a ticking time bomb. They still didn't put him down. They kept the gate. January 29th, 2022, just before 2:30 in the afternoon. Penny Bashler was the only adult home. Olivia's parents were out of town for the evening. Penny gave Olivia permission to open the gate, to go watch television in the living room. Olivia opened the gate. Ranger grabbed her by the arm and dragged her to the ground. Olivia weighed 60 pounds. Ranger weighed 122. He tore into her throat and her head. Penny tried to save her and was injured in the attempt. Olivia was rushed to Augusta Health by ambulance. She died there that day. Waynesboro police launched an investigation. What they found made the charges inevitable. 5 prior victims, 2 trainer warnings, a gate they were told to remove, a dog they were told to euthanize. In May 2022, a grand jury indicted Stephen Kakmer and Penny Bashler on 5 felony counts each, including non-capital murder. Combined, they faced up to 70 years in prison. Olivia's parents, Brooks and Alicia Floyd, both nurses, were also indicted. Prosecutors said they left their daughter at a home. Knowing the dog's history, the trial was scheduled for February 13th, 2023. It never happened. 10 days before it was set to begin, Kakmer and Bashler took plea deals. Kakmer pleaded guilty to 1 count, felony harboring of a vicious animal. Bashler pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter and felony child endangerment. Their prison sentences were suspended. Both walked out on 3 years of probation, beyond the few days spent in jail after their initial arrest. Neither of them served a single day behind bars for the death of a 7-year-old girl. 2 weeks later, charges against Olivia's parents were dropped entirely. The prosecutor explained his decision. He said, we have to be respectful of the fact that the parents suffer their own unique punishment every single day through the loss of a child. Ranger was euthanized after the attack. Olivia Grace Floyd was the first dog attack fatality in the United States. In 2022, she was 7 years old. She loved unicorns. Her favorite colors were pink and purple. And on the morning of January 29th, she was just a little girl, going to her grandparents' house. But Olivia's story is not only about one little girl, and it is not only about one dog. It is about something deeper, a truth we often refuse to face. The people who owned Ranger loved him. They raised him from a puppy. They nuzzled him. They called him a gift. That love was real. But beneath it lay something they chose not to see. A dog that had tasted blood. A dog that had been told by a professional that it was a ticking time bomb. They believed love could hold that back. Ranger showed the world otherwise. Because instinct does not disappear. It can be managed. It can be suppressed. It can be hidden behind a gate, in a living room, in a house where a 7-year-old girl is about to open the door. But it never forgets what it is. And when the moment arrives, it does not hesitate. It does not remember the years of love. It does not remember the family that raised it. It does not remember the child it has known since she was small. It only knows what it was built to do. Penny Bashler was a nursing supervisor for over 23 years. Brooks Floyd was a nurse practitioner. Alicia Floyd was a registered nurse. 3 medical professionals. 3 people trained to assess risk. 3 people who knew what damage a body can sustain. And not one of them stopped it. Because familiarity blinds us. Because we believe the things we love will protect the people we love. Because we think the gate will hold. It didn't. Olivia's death was not just a tragedy. It was a warning. A warning to every family that keeps a dog with a bite history around children. A warning to every authority that files no charges after an animal scars a stranger for life. A warning to every court that suspends a sentence when a child is dead and the evidence was overwhelming. When we ignore warnings, the price is never paid by the adults who made the choice. It is paid by the smallest people in the room, the ones who trusted the adults around them to keep them safe. Olivia Grace Floyd trusted the people who loved her most. She trusted her grandmother. She trusted the home she had visited countless times before. She trusted that opening a gate to watch television was a safe and ordinary thing to do. She was 7 years old. She had no reason not to trust. And that is what makes this story impossible to forget. Because it forces us to ask questions we would rather avoid. Do we take warnings seriously before something happens? Or only after? Do we protect the vulnerable when it costs us something we love? Or only when it costs us nothing? Olivia never got the chance to ask those questions. She was just a little girl, going to her grandparents' house. This is Primal Bonds, where love, loyalty, and trust collapse into stories that haunt the human heart. Olivia Grace Floyd, September 5th, 2014, January 29th, 2022, 7 years old. She loved unicorns. Her favorite colors were pink and purple. Rest easy, Olivia, if this story moved you. If it made you hold someone you love a little tighter tonight. Please like, share, and subscribe so that Olivia's story reaches every parent, every dog owner, every person who has ever ignored a warning and gotten lucky, because not everyone does.